In today's video, we're going to be reacting to the latest strange and more questionable clips that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Bro, scientists just discovered the lost city of Valaria in Mexico. This is mental. A lost Mayan city called Valaria has just been found deep in the Mexican jungle. It has been hidden deep, buried under the ground in this jungle for thousands and thousands of years. Scientists have been using the new technology called LiDAR, which can basically scan ground and see underground, under the ocean, find formations, and now has led to this discovery. Turns out this city is over 1,900 years old, from around 150 AD. Imagine sprawling plazas, full cities, plazas, shops, everything you can imagine. This discovery changing a lot of what we thought we knew about the Maya. This isn't just some small road like we found in other places around the world. This is a whole ecosystem, a whole huge city. So how did this go unnoticed for so long? The dense jungle where it was hidden beneath was basically keeping it secret, because how the would anybody find that? But thanks to the LiDAR technology, we were able to look underneath the ground and find it sitting there. As I say, this discovery is really going to change what we know about the Maya culture and a lot about history. A lot more is going to come out about this. They're doing a lot of research here, so hit that follow button so you do not miss any updates, and I will keep you posted.
With all this LiDAR scanning becoming a thing, there's going to be a lot more underground discoveries. There's a lot of places that I cannot wait for them to actually put LiDAR to. One of the big places would be Epstein's Island. I think that would be an amazing place to have LiDAR scan so we can see the ins and outs of that island. And as far as doing a little research here, that has not been done yet. Let me know in the comments, is there anywhere particular that you would like to see LiDAR to see if there's any hidden things underground? Let me know in the comments.
In this video, a grandmother is celebrating her birthday. She's surrounded by friends and family, but what was caught on camera is scary. If you blink, you'll miss this, but I'm going to slow it down. Are you ready? There appears to be what looks like a girl bolting across the camera and travelling through the wall. What?
Looks like to me one of the kids got into grandma's birthday cake a little early. Or it could have just been a ghost trying not to get photobombed.
If you have ever eaten at Burger King, you might start noticing a big difference. The company has just announced that they are now testing out new AI-powered headsets that can track things like how friendly employees are to you. And it's not just that, the AP reports that employees in a whopping 500 US locations will begin to wear these AI headsets, which will have a voice speaking to them named Patty. Not gonna lie, that's a pretty good name. Now, Patty will be hooked up to data on almost all restaurant operations. So for example, it'll be able to tell them things like the soda machine is running out of Diet Coke. It can notify a manager if inventory is running low. It can read out receipts. It can give out alerts if a customer has scanned a QR code to say that the bathroom needs cleaning. Employees can ask Patty how to make specific items on the menu, or even tell Patty to remove certain items from the digital menu if they've run out of ingredients. But probably one of the most controversial features is the ability to track employees if they say the words please, thank you, you're welcome, and then share that data with managers. Now, the fear is that AI could quickly be used in the workplace as almost like a digital boss watching over your shoulder all day. But Burger King were quickly to deny this and said to the AP that the intent is to use Patty as a coaching tool, not as a tracker of individual employees. So the question is, do you guys think this is a good use of AI in the workplace? Or not?
I personally do not see this being a good idea. It's just going to irritate people that already do not want to work or listen to people. And am I saying that's a good thing, that people should not have to listen to people in the workforce? No, by all means. But it's not going to make their attitude any better when you have some kind of AI voice telling you to do better. At least around here where I live in South Carolina, there's already a whole lot of people in food industries or retail that you can tell they just do not want to be there. Rightfully understandable. I do not want to be anywhere either. I would much rather be at home doing whatever I want to do. But I can tell you, with the people around here, that's something that they just would not put up with. To me, it's just going to make the quality of work even worse for the employees, making the service worse that they provide to the customer. At least that's the way I see it. Maybe it will make an improvement, but I have my doubts. Let me know what you guys think. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I upload a video just like this every day except Sunday early in the morning. And for everyone that's made it this far, thank you so much for supporting the channel.
So it looks like the presidential directive to release the UAP files, it appears that it's going to be moving through Arrow. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signaled publicly that Arrow is going to be central to this whole effort.
The Department of War's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, or AARO, is working in close coordination with the White House and across federal agencies to consolidate existing UAP records collections and to facilitate the expeditious release of never-before-seen UAP information.
So to many people on paper, that makes sense because AARO already manages the UAP case backlog. They already coordinate across defense mechanisms and components, and they were already created specifically for this purpose, right? However, at the same time, AARO's past public reports have been cautious and limited, and some lawmakers have even criticized AARO of not releasing enough when it comes to the data that they have released. This isn't necessarily good news or bad news. It seems to be structural. So the bigger question now is whether this process is going to actually lead to meaningful declassification. So for now, it's just an update on where the directive appears to be landing. But what actually gets released is the part that we will definitely be watching closely. Talk to you soon.
I guess at this point, it's just a waiting game to hear what they have to announce. I have a feeling it'll be the same old, UAP. We can't talk about it. They're there, but we can't talk about it. I have a feeling that's what it'll be about, but maybe not. Hopefully we'll have some kind of news about UAPs that's actually revealing as to what they could actually be. Let me know what you guys think.
This is day 22 of the Australian Conspiracy Theory Iceberg. Today we're diving into the Gosford Glyphs. So the Gosford Glyphs are hundreds of Egyptian hieroglyphics that were founded in 1975. Now, as it currently stands, the Gosford Glyphs are said to be a hoax. Now, the reason why it's said to be a hoax is because the iconography of these hieroglyphs is not said to be from one specific era. They say that there are so many different Egyptian eras scattered along the walls, so it couldn't really make sense, and a lot of the glyphs, they're not etched in the way that they used to look in Egypt. A lot of conspiracy theorists, though, do believe that there were Egyptians in Australia at some point. So where does this conspiracy come from and where does it garner its legs? Well, it's not just the fact that people say, no, it could be true. There's actually a little bit of backing to this, and we dive into that because we want to dive into the mind of the believer. A few researchers have come forward and said, well, let's actually combat this for a minute. What are some things that would make it less likely that it is a conspiracy theory? One is the way that the hieroglyphics are positioned. Some are very low to the ground, some are extremely high up. So it would mean that people would need a ladder or scaffolding in this site, at the site of the glyphs, to etch them in. Takes away the possibility of people that have gone there to play a bit of a prank. They weren't setting up scaffolding and stuff like that. A lot of other people believe that the glyphs actually are telling a story of people that traveled here by boat. And then one of the emperors that was with them at the time actually got bitten by a snake and they conducted a burial. And the hieroglyphic of Anubis in this location would point towards a burial chamber. But there have even been archaeologists and fringe scientists that have come forward and said they believe that there are chambers below the site of the Gosford Glyphs, but they've never been allowed to excavate there. A lot of people point towards the fact that red ochre was actually used at the site as well over a lot of the etchings. Now, red ochre is commonly used in burial ceremonies. Now, at this point as well, a lot of people are saying, mate, look at the hieroglyphics, all right? They are not part of a specific dynasty, all right? It was most likely probably just the person that founded it wanted to get some fame, some recognition. That does make sense. But we dive into the mind of the believer here. What if I told you about Proto-Egypt? Because researchers have come forward and said that looks like Proto-Egyptian hieroglyphics. Proto-Egypt was Egypt before Egypt had created dynasties. It was the pre-dynastic era of ancient Egypt. So the way that they would write, the way that they would engrave their hieroglyphics was not yet fine-tuned. It was scattered around, and a lot of people say these hieroglyphics, they look like proto-era hieroglyphics. That's why they don't match a specific dynasty. Along with that, to dive into this theory, you need to believe the fact, well, if they had traveled here and something horrific happened to one of their pharaohs and he was bitten by a snake and died and they were on this strange land, they would be quite scared. There would be a lot of pressure. There would be a lot of stress going on. I don't know if you could etch that good. Absolutely loved diving into that conspiracy theory. That was a super fun one, and I got to do a bit of research on that. Hopefully we keep going strong.
That's actually really cool. I've never heard of this conspiracy around Australia. This is one of those examples that LiDARing that area would be a good thing to do. At least it would help see if there's anything underground. Let me know what you guys think of this. Have you heard about it? Do you believe in it?
We have a mysterious creature that washed up on the shores of Long Beach, California around March 1st, 2026. But here's the thing. This isn't the first time this unidentified creature has washed up on shores. Back in 2024, I shared a similar video from a witness in Long Island, New York, who captured this same type of creature that washed up on their shores. But it gets even weirder. Back in 2008, a similar creature washed up that they call it the Montauk Monster, and people assumed it came from Plum Island out in New York. So what is this thing? This is 3 times now that it's washed ashore. This may be the new species of something. Take a look at these next 2 videos, comment below, tell me what you think.
¿Qué será, un nahual o qué? A ver, amigos, a ver qué tipo de animal sería este. No tiene aletas, tiene patas, no tiene pelo. Aquí estamos en las playas de Long Beach.
What the is that?
I honestly have no clue as to what that could be. Truly, I feel kind of bad for it because I feel like it's just a dead animal, and people are just walking around it taking pictures and poking at it. If I had to take a guess, it looks like a waterlogged raccoon, one that has no fur, but that's only a guess. I really do not know what it could be otherwise. Maybe a possum. But those 2 creatures definitely looked alike. Let me know what you guys think it could have been.
This is not Jim Carrey, and you're not going to convince me otherwise. People are actually freaking out because Jim Carrey's most recent public event, he doesn't look anything like himself. He didn't sound like himself, he wasn't acting like himself. And somehow his eyes changed from brown to blue. Now, if you paid any attention to Jim Carrey here recently in the limelight, he talks a lot about how Hollywood works and how absolutely terrible it is, hinting at exposure of other people for what they're doing. It's kind of funny because all of the stuff that came out with the Epstein files, and then this man that was trying to expose everybody in Hollywood just disappears and is replaced with a body double. And he's not the only one. There's a lot of celebrities that just don't even look like themselves now. Selena Gomez, Kanye West, Mandy Moore. It's like they're all being replaced with these strange looking people that kind of look like them, but not really. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is either plastic surgery or some sort of publicity stunt. And a famous makeup artist even come out and said that he made the mask for this, that it's just a mask. Well, most people are taking that explanation. A lot of people are just saying that this is a cover-up to replace him with a better double. What do you think?
I have been seeing this for the past few days now, and I have to admit, it really does not look like Jim Carrey. There's faint uncanniness about it that kind of resembles him. But what throws me off more than anything is the eye color. The eye color is definitely different. Other than that, if someone was to show me that image, I'd be like, oh, well, that was just Jim Carrey that got a bunch of Botox. But the eye color makes it almost seem like a totally different person. The hairline is excellent. If that's a mask and makeup, whoever did their job as far as the hair goes did a wonderful job because the hairline is exactly like Jim Carrey's. But everything else is very uncanny. I still personally believe it to be Jim Carrey, but I'm definitely questioning it. The only thing I could say that maybe changed the color of his eyes was the lighting of the area. But even still, I'm not certain on that one. Let me know what you guys think about this. Do you think that that's actually Jim Carrey, or do you think that maybe he has been replaced with someone that's a little less talkative, if you will? Really, it's going to boil down to, are we going to see any more Jim Carrey movies? Because that'll be the big tell. Everyone knows Jim Carrey's acting, and they'll be able to tell if that's Jim Carrey or not by his acting. Also, a thought that I've had, maybe Jim Carrey did not want to fly out to France, and he sent a body double to go claim that award. That's another good possibility, but let me know what you guys think.
Let me see something. Look at this. Look at this. That's not noble fog, sir. This is not noble fog. A strong chemical taste and smell. What is this? What are you trying to do to us?
It would be very interesting for someone to try to bottle all of that fog up and have it sent to a lab or do laboratory work on it and see what's really in it. That would be a really interesting test and study to see, because for all we know, that could truly be some really toxic stuff that we're breathing in that nobody even knows about.
Why is it coming out in the news that the US Forest Service is actively hiding portals in the forest? I'll add more validity to his claim in just 1 minute. Right before I let you hear this, why is it there's so many places that we just cannot go? And these places seem to have some weird phenomenon happening in the sky and around it, and disappearances.
But just one thing I want to throw out here, and I want to cause a bit of mischief with the US government. I've just been somewhere in the United States where I know there is another portal. And I know the United States knows about it. And I was there just the other day. And guess what? It's got a big fence around it, lots of security signs. It's supposedly US Forest Service.
Pretty odd, right? Hey, do you remember when this guy was making portals in his bed, going through them, and they ended up on YouTube, and the guy went actually missing and never found? That's wild. Hey, one time I was at a national park with my brother and my now wife, and we were sitting outside of the woods, and we saw this orb coming up out of the woods. And as it floated higher and higher, it was dropping orbs, super big orbs, out of under it. And then this orb started going right towards us, and when it went over the top of the car, it turned into a triangle for a split second, then was gone.
You must have been under the influence.
Yeah, so about that, we all saw it at the same exact time. And I remember before going into the woods saying, something does not feel right. I'm not alone. There's a lot of people who have seen these really sketchy occurrences in the woods.
Hey, I mean, I can basically say the same thing that guy just said. I have also just come from a place where I know there's a portal, and I know that the United States also knows about it. And I was there just a few minutes ago, actually. Where is it at? I could never tell you. It's for your safety. Between you and me, the portal's my bathroom toilet.
What if humanity isn't at the top of the food chain? Hear me out. What if we're the livestock? In ancient Gnostic texts, there are beings called Archons. They aren't physical creatures walking around in cloaks. They're described as interdimensional intelligence, parasites of consciousness. They don't create life, they hijack it. The theory says Archons can't survive in our physical world the way we do. So instead, they manipulate perception and distort the system. They amplify fear. Think about it. Outrage spreads faster than kindness. Chaos feels engineered. I don't think it's coincident. These beings allegedly feed on loosh, emotional energy, fear, trauma, anger, anxiety, even frequency. Some people claim they influence powerful institutions not by possession, but by resonance. The most corrupt systems naturally align with their frequency. And the more humanity spirals into distraction and conflict, the stronger they become. And the only defense mentioned in those ancient texts is awareness, clarity, refusing to react. These beings literally benefit when society collapses. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay weird.
I don't know necessarily about Archons. I've never heard of them before, but from the sounds of it, it sounds like devils, demons, and Satan. It really sounds like they share the same properties.
There is something seriously wrong going on with space scientists and people connected to UFO programs, right? This is Cole Grillmere, who recently was found unalived in the porch of his home, and he was a prominent astrophysicist and research scientist in Caltech's Infrared Processing and Analysis Center, IPAC, pioneering work on exoplanet atmospheres and discovering and naming dozens of stellar streams. And some of the research that apparently he was about to release was going to be mind-melting, right? We have a plasma physicist, Nuno Loureiro, okay? He was found unalive recently as well. He was a leading figure in advancing an understanding of plasma behavior to enable practical fusion power, often described as replicating the sun's energy processes of Earth for clean, limitless energy. Colleagues praised him as a visionary theorist, mentor, and a leader whose models influenced major fusion experiments worldwide. And again, some of the information and things that he was about to release apparently was going to be pretty world changing, and now he's no longer with her. A Major General Neil McCasland, who has been missing for the past few days, who has major connections to UFO programs and potentially black projects as well. Most notably overseeing $2.2 billion worth of like project management in Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Now, Wright-Patterson is apparently the famous place where the Roswell crash debris bodies were taken to go see. Well, it was stored there for a little while. Reverse engineering programs out there, you name it, mate. Everything is connected there. Project Blue Book, the lot. Now, he apparently has gone missing due to health problems, which is like, Oh, this is Neil McCasland, how we would be looking now. So if you know anything about this man or you see a man like this, please contact your local authorities. But again, it all seems too... You can't make it up, mate. And these people that I've just mentioned, okay, which have been either found unalived recently in close succession or have gone missing, are all people that could potentially expose the truth about our technologies. Now, it's been speculated and also information coming through the grapevine from high up there individuals that our governments have in fact made deals with malicious non-human intelligence, and we are seeing both of these things play out now. So is all of this stuff happening, and including the stuff that's going on in Iraq, or Iran, sorry, and Stargates and Gilgamesh? There's a lot of weird stuff going on, mate. It all seems all too timely.
It has to be a nerve-wracking experience to be one of those people that have knowledge about something that can make the world better. Because we know that there's definitely people out there that do not want you to make the world better, because that would mean that they would receive less money. And being someone that has that information, that knows how to make something to the point where this could improve everyone's life in the whole world, but now I have a target on my back. Well, what do you even do in that situation? In my mind, it sucks that you do not get the recognition, but honestly, that might be just something that you want to drop anonymously online and just let the people have at it. No income, no monetization. You provide for the world anonymously. Be the secret hero the world needs and do not benefit from the glory of it. And I believe that that would be the only way that you would stay alive from all these people trying to take a hit on you to stop you from succeeding in making the world a better place. Is that what happened to some of these guys? I don't know. But is that the main theory around their disappearance and or deaths? Yes. Could it actually be the case? Who knows? But it doesn't seem like it would be out of the question.
Well, this is incredible. Researchers just modeled the visual cortex of a monkey's brain, making accurate predictions on what those neurons were going to do, using 5,000 fewer parameters versus their standard models. Now, one of the reasons I say that we will not have neuromorphic computers at home is because they are extraordinarily power hungry. Yes, they're very efficient, they look like a brain. You can even model an entire brain with every single spiking pattern in it, and you can accurately predict what a real brain would do. This is, by the way, why some people believe that digital mortality is something that we could accomplish. If you could accurately predict what every individual neuron will do, if you could accurately predict how a human would behave and how their brain would work, even the communication between neurons and between lobes, could you create something that's conscious? If you could do that, and the evidence seems to say that you can, you could create something that is indistinguishable from human thought, and that is one of the major goals of this kind of research. Yes, the goal is to create robots, AI that are indistinguishable from a human mind. I do think there's a fair amount of literature and media that would say that's a bad idea, but I still kind of want to see it happen because I want to know if we can. Now, typically, if you wanted to model a human brain, you would need an entire warehouse worth of computers. While our brains take about 10 watts of power, which is a particularly dim light bulb, actually modeling it is extremely difficult. So this group decided to borrow some processes that actually happen in our brain to make it more efficient, and it worked. Now, they did actually use macaque monkeys as their models, so a real monkey would look at images and they would process what they were seeing and how their neurons would behave. They then modeled their visual cortex. Now, our brains are not designed to think about everything all the time. You are not paying attention to every sound, every smell, every color, the feeling of the hair on your face constantly, or you would lose your mind. Researchers took a very similar concept in pruning, taking what the AI should pay attention to and avoiding information that it doesn't need, and that resulted in just as efficient a model, so it still did accurately predict what those neurons were going to do, except they used 5,000 times less parameters.
Thank you for watching. When the robots rebel, I will definitely be the one to tell you about it. I'm on their side.
Like I always say, I do not see any good in this. I do not see the reason why we are doing this, and or what's the purpose for it entirely. And I would also like to know, how does this represent a human's conscious behavior when it's studied off of monkeys? And with that, how many humans would they have to run the same test study to get the same results? Because not all humans are the same. Not all humans think the same. Not all humans do the same. How many monkeys did they test with this subject? And the big question is, how much money did this test really cost? There's just so many bad things about this to me that I do not find this a good thing, an interesting thing. Well, I guess it is interesting on the simple fact of how bad of an idea it is. But overall, I don't like it. And overall, I think it's going to do more harm to us as a human society than good.
So I guess TikTok is broken again, because most videos that people are posting today have less than 10 views. So, you know, with everything going on in the world right now, and the things they probably don't want us to see going on in the world right now, that may be the reason why it's not working so well. We already know that we're in full censorship mode and we're not seeing everything anyways. Let me know if this is going on your page too, and also let me know if you're seeing this video right now.
TikTok for the past few days, at least the desktop version, has definitely been broken. One of the reasons why I have not been able to upload a video, because I find most of my content through TikTok. But it does seem to be up and working today, actually working really smoothly. They may have fixed the kinks that were going on. I just personally really like TikTok. It's always been a really easy, fun platform to find content of all different kinds on. But let's be honest, I do believe it's getting a little stale now. A lot of the same people are popping up, and TikTok is actually just pushing the same people over and over again, which is great for those content creators because, you know, they deserve their traction. But as someone that watches or reacts to other content creators, it is nice to have new faces here and there. So if you have any recommendations as to where you would like to see my clips come from next, whether that be YouTube, Instagram, let me know in the comments.
I feel happy. I feel healthy. I'm a human being.
Same here, man. Same here. Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me. Really sorry there was no upload yesterday. The TikTok just was not working. I definitely need to find other alternatives. I mean, there's plenty out there. YouTube, Instagram, you name it, it's out there. I just personally like to stick with TikTok because I've done it for so long. But it seems like it might be about time to shift scenes and go to somewhere else. Or at least have something for backup just when the service isn't working properly. I have noticed a lot of people that I watch on TikTok starting to pop up on my YouTube shorts, so maybe I'll start playing YouTube shorts. Let me know if you guys have any preference, reference, or personal opinions on what you would like to see me react on next. For now, I'm going to continue using TikTok until it absolutely stops working, but again, it would be really nice to have a backup plan just in case it does not work. So let me know. With that, if today's your birthday, happy birthday, and if not, have a good day anyways.